everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So I have a slight pile of books here today that I want to talk to you about, and this mainly came from basically a few people coming to me and being like, I don't know what to read next. What book should I pick up? What do I need to read? Just looking for basic recommendations. So I have had a few come and peruse the shelves, so those books are lent out, but I was kind of looking around and thinking, if you guys were here looking for a book to read, what would I recommend and want to send you home with? So books to read when you don't know what to read. I started with my nonfiction shelf, and I feel like this is a really great option for nonfiction lovers, for fiction lovers, for just people who love a good story. So this is The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. This is his personal account of spending years and years on death row for a crime he didn't commit. So it goes through his whole account. It goes through the legal process. It tells you the whole thing. It is written so well. It's not super long. It's very engaging. It's such an interesting story. It definitely gets you thinking. It's a really great book to pick up if you don't know what to pick up. So above my nonfictions, I've got some fantasy books. And so I was looking at that shelf. And I feel like Fourth Wings talked about a lot. I talked a lot about The House on the Cerulean Sea. So I'm like, maybe not those. But if you didn't know what to pick up and you weren't sure and you wanted to get into another book, I'd say Illuminae. This is by Amy Coffin and Jay Kristoff. This is a beyond unique story that takes place in outer space, but it's told with case files and emails and instructions, and it's told in such a unique way that you end up going through this big old behemoth really, really quickly, and you are completely immersed in this story, this survival story, basically in outer space. So that's what I would absolutely encourage somebody to pick up. And then if you're really caught up into that world, you can continue on with the rest of the books. So can't go wrong there. So then I went over to like my more contemporary shelf, and I've got a couple of recommendations from there. First is Catherine Center. I'm going to talk about How to Walk Away, but I highly encourage you to read any of the Catherine Center books that you have. They're all fantastic. I think I've read three of hers. This one follows Margaret. She's kind of on the verge of having her happily ever after, and something happens. She wakes up in the hospital. She has a fiance who is unbelievably apologetic about something she's not understanding. A very dominating sister that kind of throws her for a loop, and this physical therapist that really pushes her sometimes too far. So just more of a book about survival, which tends to be Catherine Center's forte. And then I have Jennifer Weiner. I think this is a great, easy palate cleanser books to pick up. Hers tend to take place in the summer. This one is about Sarah. Her 22-year-old stepdaughter announces her engagement during this pandemic to this boyfriend that they don't really know. And there's already a date set. There's all this planning that's taken place, and Sarah's mother is hosting this wedding at a family's beach house in Cape Cod. So Sarah's a little bit worried about what's happening and why this very quick wedding is happening, but she's the stepmom, and where does she fit in? And yet her mom Veronica's super thrilled to bring this family together one more time before putting this Cape Cod house on the market. So again, I get immersed into Jennifer Weiner's books completely. Like, I love her characters. There's enough drama, there's enough funny. It's a really good mix to just pick up when you don't know what to pick up. I do have one historical fiction that I found. The rest were, I wasn't totally feeling them right now for ones that I would recommend to just about anyone. But this one for sure, Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. This takes place in the city of Montgomery, and I was looking for a year. I want to say it's like the 60s and 70s. Oh, there was a year. Oh, where did it go? I lost it. Oh no. 60s and 70s, I think, and then like present day. So we are introduced to a nurse who is named, where is your name, my friend? Eric and Indy are the children. I found it. So we're introduced to a nurse named Sybil, and she's just out of nursing school. She is ready to just like take her career head on, and she gets assigned to this clinic in Montgomery, Alabama, and she gets a caseload, and basically there's 2 very young girls on her caseload that she has to visit, do a home visit, and give them birth control. And she's very morally conflicted with, why are we doing this at such a young age? What are we even preventing? What is the reasoning behind all this? And it really delves deep into this forced, I don't want to say sterilization, but forced family planning type situations for people who are very, very underprivileged during that time in the South. And it's fantastic. Sybil is one of those characters that is, you can love her at times and hate her at times. She's definitely imperfect. Yet you're just rooting for the whole situation to figure itself out. There are heartbreaking moments. It's such a beautiful book, and I feel like anybody would be able to pick this up. All right, so then we went over to my thriller, mystery, suspenseful section. So if you're looking for good suspense, Taylor Adams is my man. He will suck you into a book so quickly that all of a sudden a day will fly by and you're done with the book and you're just flabbergasted. I've read 3 of his books. Every single one gives me the same wild ride with crazy twists and turns. It's fantastic. This is his newest one it's an isolated suspense about a book reviewer who leaves a bad review on a book, and I believe the author comes for her. So I gotta get to that one. But I need to make sure I like block my schedule because I won't be able to stop. Then we have more like mystery around what are we gonna do. We have The Last Flight by Julie Clark. We have 2 women who are, for 2 very different reasons, kind of looking for a way, I don't want to say out, but a way to kind of break away and run away. They end up meeting at the airport randomly, and both kind of realizing each other's stories. And so since they look very similar, they decide to switch tickets. So one, they trade places, and one of the flights goes down. So we go from there. That was a crazy mystery. I loved it. And then we have a little bit more creepy crawly. We've got All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. We have Isabel Drake. Her toddler son Mason was taken out of his crib in the middle of the night when her husband and her were asleep in the room next door. Very little evidence, few leads. Case really goes cold, but Isabel just can't let it drop. And so a few years later, things kind of start bubbling up again that makes her really get interested, but she's kind of lost the respect of her husband, the law enforcement. It's because she just is so obsessed with this, which as she should be. But this will take you again on a wild ride with crazy twists and turns, as Stacey Willingham always does. This is by far my favorite book by her so far. It was glorious. So hopefully one of these sparks some interest in you, and if you don't know what book to pick up next, highly suggest any of these. Or if you have a book that you normally recommend to people when they're looking for something to read, leave it in the comments below and we'll have a whole plethora of books to share. So comment below, otherwise like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.